What's up? What's up? What's up? We back again with another real estate class hosted by me, Ace. We're about to get it right into it. We're going to talk about the VA home loan. This is something I get a lot of questions about. I've heard so much wrong information from people about using the VA home loan, from either things people have heard from people in their unit, from things people have heard from their family and friends, and all these different things. If you guys don't go find the information yourself, even after this information I'm about to give you guys, I can talk about this all day because I've gotten multiple properties using the VA home loan. I've used multiple VA home loans. I've gotten multiple properties under one VA home loan. I've refinanced VA home loans. I've tried to get about every type of creative way you can get with the VA home loan. I've probably done it or have tried to do it. Know someone who's done it. So everything I'm gonna tell you guys is based on experience. Like I said, that was my first way into real estate. My very first building was a fourplex. I lived in one unit. I rented out the other three. The other three tenants that lived in my building happened to be in the military. They didn't even know that I owned it because I had a property manager. They paid the property manager and the property manager paid me. So a lot of misinformation out there. So today we're going to dive into the VA home loan. If you guys have any questions along the way, you guys can type them in the chat, or you guys can wait till the end. Just kind of based on the flow, I'll probably check the chat and see if you guys are typing anything in there. If you guys have any questions on something that I talked about. For today, I have some slides for you guys. So we're going to cover some of the basic information on the VA home loan, and then I'll just kind of get into my story a little bit. And then I got a few questions in the Well Squad. People have asked me about something that's kind of a little bit off topic, kind of travel related. So if any of you guys are travelers, stick around for that last part because something just kind of came out, and we'll talk on it. So let me share my screen with you guys and let's go ahead and dive in. Anyways, I hope you guys are all doing well, by the way. Happy Thursday. We're almost through November. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come to class and get this knowledge. So hopefully I can bless you guys with something new for those of you who don't know. And yeah, let's get it. All right, so what is a VA home loan? So a VA loan is a type of government loan backed by the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, the VA. The VA offers specific guarantees to private lenders that handle VA loans. Because of these guarantees, lenders offer loans that typically feature no down payment to veterans, and they may have less stringent requirements than other loans. So some common type of VA loans, the VA offers a variety of home and refinance loans to borrowers. If you're not sure which VA loan type will work for your situation, you can talk to a home loan expert to learn more. So before we go to the next slide, something that I would really highly recommend for you guys to do is to speak with a realtor that's a VA specific realtor. A lot of realtors out there, they might have some VA experience, or they maybe have closed a few homes using the VA, but there are specific realtors out there who go through specific training. I noticed that those realtors are a lot more current and up to date on things that you can and can't do, because just like with everything out there, things are always changing, maybe quarterly, semi-annually, yearly, something new might come out. So things are always changing. Things for the VA typically don't come out new until they might drop it in October, and then it will qualify for whatever year. So, right. So we got 2023 coming up. So October, they did drop some news, nothing on the VA home loan, at least nothing that I've seen, but that's typically when the news will drop, and then it will be implemented January, usually for the VA home loan. So if you can work with a realtor that's a VA specialized realtor, they have them out there. If you guys go through the banks that typically work with a lot of military, so like USAA and Navy Federal, you can ask them for references, because sometimes they'll have those VA specific realtors. If not, you can just go into Google VA realtor in my area, or just pick up the phone, call a realtor, say, hey, do you have any specific training for VA home loan? I'm a veteran, I'm active, I'm whatever your case may be, a spouse, a surviving spouse, whatever the case may be. Pick up that phone and just call and ask. And eventually, if they don't do it, they might know someone who is, and they could refer you, or they may or may not have some information for you. So here goes some of the VA loan types. Your VA home purchase loan, that's just your standard VA loan backed by the VA. A jumbo loan, so that's a VA loan that exceeds conforming limits. A VA renovation loan, a VA loan that funds the purchase of a home plus the cost to renovate the property. I have a friend that just did this one. The VA cash out refinance. So this is a VA loan that converts a home equity into cash. So let's say you got a home a couple of years ago at a great price. The value of home skyrocketed, came down a little bit, but you still got some equity. You can do a VA cash out refinance to pull some of that cash out. Hopefully, if you guys are pulling cash out of your property, you're doing it to either help make you money or, something smart with that money. If you're going out to just, upgrade your car, improve your home decor, not even the home improvements, just, new couch, new this and that stuff that's not gonna bring any value to your property. I don't want to say you're necessarily burning money, because you guys can do whatever you want to do with your money, but that's, not a smart move with your money. You always want to make your money make you money. So if you're pulling all that cash out, have a plan with it before you guys even start to consider, pulling cash out and doing these things. Kind of already have a plan in place. So that way you can, have that money make you more money, get another property, maybe pay down some debt. I don't know, something smart with that money. VA rate term refinance. So this allows eligible clients not already in a VA loan to refinance for the purpose of lowering their rate and or changing their term of their mortgage. And Earl, this is something that I used recently before interest rates shot up. Interest rates were at an all-time low, and I was able to refinance one of my VA loans that I had. So this one is the Earl. It's the VA interest rate reduction refinance loan. The function here is the same as the rate term refinance, but it's for people who already have existing VA loans, which I did. The purpose is to lower the monthly payment and or interest rate, which it did for both. It requires less documentation, and there's a lower VA funding fee. This may be referred to as the VA streamline. You could also get that rolled into your loan. So you could actually do this without even have to worry about coming out of pocket for any money. You can get everything rolled into the loan. I used it for both. It lowered my interest rate and it lowered my payment. So it was a win-win for me. How does the VA home loan work? All right. The VA does not issue VA loans, but they do determine who qualifies for one and which lenders issue them. So there are several types of VA loans, which we just covered, and they pose a less of a risk to lenders because they're backed by a government agency, the VA. So VA mortgages are considered non-conforming loans because they don't meet the guidelines of conventional lenders, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. However, this allows more flexibility for clients to qualify because of their easier credit score requirements. They offer many advantages over conventional loans, including lower interest rates, more lenient borrowing requirements, and no down payment due at closing. VA loans also never have PMI, your private mortgage insurance, your mortgage insurance that you will have if you get a loan and you don't put up to 20% or more down on the loan. So if you put 20% or less, if you get something like a 3% conventional loan, or if you get something like a FHA home loan and you don't put 20% down, you're gonna have to pay what's called a PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. It's something that you pay monthly for the lender giving you the money. It doesn't go towards your principal. It doesn't go towards your interest. You don't get it back if you sell, refinance, or whatever you do with your home. It literally just goes to the lender for them giving you the loan pretty much. So who qualifies for this loan, right? For those who are eligible, VA loans are attractive because they don't usually require down payment, which, could be 20, 30, 40, 50,000 in some people's cases. They also have lower interest rates than many other types of mortgage loans you can get for similar terms. And they don't have that monthly PMI, that private mortgage insurance. So although lenders set their own requirements for certain aspects of qualifications, VA loans have more lenient credit requirements than many other mortgage programs. That means qualifying for one should be easier, even if you have poor credit history or small down payment. So the cool thing about these VA home loans, like I said, is you don't have to worry about a down payment. It's a lot more leniency on your credit score, things like that. But the process is pretty much the same. So as far as, they're not going to just say, hey, you qualify for a VA home loan, we're going to just give you 500,000. Nope, they're still going to run your credit. They're still going to need, your bank statements. They're still going to need proof of income if you guys aren't in the service anymore. They're still going to, look at your DTI, your debt to income. So all these things still matter. You just get to miss a big portion of that part, which is having to pay, those down payment and those closing costs. So that's the really big chunk that you guys wouldn't have to worry about. But everything else is pretty much still the same. All right. Not all who have served in the armed forces qualify for a VA home loan. You must meet at least one of the following criteria to qualify. You served 181 days of active service during peacetime. You served 90 consecutive days of active service during wartime. You served more than 6 years of service with the National Guard or Reserves, or 90 days under Title 32, with at least 30 of those days being consecutive. You're the spouse of a service member who lost their life in the line of duty or as a result of a service-connected disability. You generally cannot have remarried, although there are exceptions, as well as other requirements for a spouse getting a VA loan. Wartime or peacetime definitions depend on when you serve. For more information, see the VA's eligibility guidelines, which is va.gov. You're going to need what's called a COE. So a COE is a document that shows your mortgage lender that you're eligible for a VA home loan. So to get a COE, you need to demonstrate proof of service. The proof you need to submit varies based on whether you're an active duty military member, a veteran, or a surviving spouse, or otherwise qualify for a VA home loan. Some of the documents that you need. So depending on your status, like what we just talked about, if you're active, retired, whatever, there are several different forms you'll need to include with your mortgage application in order to qualify. So if you're a veteran, you're going to need your DD-214. Your DD-214 is a certificate that verifies your military discharge. It's going to show if you got honorable, under honorable, dishonorable, whatever your discharge was. You can request your DD form 214 online by using eVet Rex filing system, or you can do it on Mill Connect, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Active duty service members. So you'll need a statement of service for VA loan application signed by your personal officer or your unit commander, or if you're an active duty service member, the statement of service must include your full legal name, your social security number, and your birth date. For those of you guys that are in the Air Force, you should be able to print it off on, I can't remember, Mill. I forget what it is, but there's a form that you guys can go into where it's like all your service records are, and you guys will be able to print that off, and that's what you guys will need. And then your commander, first sergeant, and whoever else probably need to sign off on it. So it must document the date you enter service, information on any breaks or discharges you took from service, the name of your commander, providing the information. Ask your supervisor for a statement of service before you apply for your COE. Current or former activated National Guard members. Current National Guard members also need a copy of their DD-214. If you have at least 90 days of active service, you'll need one of the following: your DD-214 that shows 32, these different sections. So I'm not going to read all that. An annual point statement, your DD-220 with corresponding orders. Current members of the National Guard Reserve who hasn't been activated, you need a statement of service signed by your commanding officer. These requirements have the same as they are for active duty service members. Discharged member of the National Guard who wasn't activated. Discharged members of the National Guard need to have your NGB Form 22, report of separation and record of service for each period of National Guard service. You must also have NGB Form 23, retirement points according and proof of character of service. National Guard units belong to individual states, so there is no central record archive. Contact the National Guard General Office in the state where you served and request your NGB Form 22 and 23 to get your COE. Discharged members of the Selected Reserve who wasn't activated, you must have a copy of your annual retirement point statement. If you're a discharged member of the Selected Service, you also need proof of honorable service and discharge. If you're a surviving spouse, surviving spouses who do not get dependency benefits can get a COE if they have their spouse's DD-214, the marriage license, and their spouse's death certificate. You also need to print and complete VA Form 21P-534-ARE, which is available on the VA benefits website. Surviving spouses who receive dependency benefits need to print and complete VA Form 26-1817. You can download the form for free from the VA benefits website. If you guys haven't checked out that VA benefits website, go check it out. A lot of benefits on there. Just go through it if you guys ever get bored one day and want to see some stuff you can qualify for. Once you get your evidence, you have a few options to apply for your COE. You can apply online through the VA's e-benefits website. Oh yeah, e-benefits, that's what I was thinking of, not Meal Connect, e-benefits when I said that earlier. You can also mail your documents and complete a VA Form 26-1880. Here's some other VA loan requirements. So once you verify that you meet service requirements for VA loan, you'll need your income, like I was telling you guys about, assets and credit to check out, as well as the property you're buying. So requirements may also vary for any loans your lender considers a VA jumbo loan. Here goes some of the property types. We're about to dive into that. So VA loans can also be used on condos and manufactured homes. I have a friend that did a manufactured home a couple of years ago, but not all VA lenders will finance loans for these property types. So you just got to find the right lender. In order to be in compliance with VA loan occupancy requirements, the property you buy must be your primary residence within 60 days of purchase. There is an asterisk after that. I'll get into in a second. So you can't use the VA loan for vacation or investment property. So you can't put this into your LLC or nothing like that right away. But you can use it to buy 1 to 4 family home if the eligible member uses it as a primary resident. So you want to get a 4-plex. That's how I started out. I lived in 1 unit. I rented out the other 3. If you want to get a triplex, you live in 1 unit, you rent out the other 2. If you want to get a duplex, you live in 1 unit, rent out the other unit. If you want to get a single family home to make it your home, then you just get a single family home and you make it your primary resident. So this 60 days of purchase, that's kind of like a asterisk behind it. When I've been doing this, I haven't had anybody run behind me to check, are you living in there? Because they know sometimes people got a lot of stuff going on. There can be a little bit of leniency depending on, it's all case by case, depending on what you got going on. If you're transitioning from active to retired, or, still trying to figure out where so much, life. So there's kind of like an asterisk after that, as long as you intend to make it your primary resident. But so far from what I've seen, there's no one that's chasing behind you to make sure, did you move in within 60 days, or no one's sending a letter or anything like that. So I wouldn't want to play with it as far as not making it my primary resident, because I don't want to do anything to make myself ineligible to be able to, because you can reuse the VA home loan over and over again. So I wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize being able to use it multiple times. So just kind of follow the guidelines, stay within the lines, know what those lines are. So in case you have to go outside of them, you're not going to actually get yourself in any trouble. And yeah, that's that. All right, requirements. So credit score, the VA doesn't require a specific minimum credit score for VA loans. So the credit requirement varies by lender. This is why it's always good to shop with multiple lenders. For your income, your lender will evaluate your DTI, your debt to income ratio, when considering your ability to pay back the loan. Your DTI represents how much of your monthly income goes towards paying back debt. The VA does not set limits on your DTI, although your lender might. The VA loan limit, so the VA doesn't limit how much you can borrow, except in the case of impacted entitlement. But when loan limits do apply to a VA loan, they're usually based on conventional loan limits, which as of 2022 sit at a minimum of $647,200 for throughout the United States. Additionally, lenders often use the conventional loan limits as the lower bounds for VA jumbo loans. So VA removed limits on loans pretty much. That doesn't necessarily mean you could just go get $1 million property, right? You're still going to have to be able to qualify. You're still going to have to show that you can afford it. Your income coming in, all your debts that you have, your DTI, everything has to match up for the type of loan that you're getting. But it's still good to shop around for different lenders, because different lenders are going to have their own minimums. As you guys can see, the VA doesn't have anything specific, but you're not getting the loan through the VA, like I touched earlier. So the VA is backing the loan for you, and the VA is saying whether if you qualify or not. But you actually have to go to a lender and you have to find a lender that does VA loans, and then you have to see what their terms are, what their rates are, and go from there. Certain high cost areas have higher limits. If you need a loan higher than that amount, you may be able to look into a VA jumbo loan, which doesn't require a down payment and may offer a lower rate than regular jumbo loans. That's something you'll be talking with the loan officer. Down payment and assets. So VA loans are one of the few loan options that don't require a down payment. Your lender may have specific requirements for no down payment VA loan. For example, they may require that you have a higher credit score if you're putting down less than 10%. It's important to keep in mind that no down payment doesn't mean zero costs. In addition to VA loan closing costs, there are some other fees to be prepared for, even if you're putting 0% down. Here's a glance at just a few of those. So the funding fee, most people who get a VA loan are required to pay a funding fee, which covers the cost to taxpayers. So the VA funding fee normally ranges from 1.4% to 3.6% of your loan amount. If you previously had a VA loan and you're doing a VA streamline, the funding fee is 0.5%. If you're I should have put this on there. If you're a disabled veteran, I forget if it's any percent or if it's if it's 100%. I can't remember what the exact percent is, but if you're a disabled veteran, you're getting some type of percentage through the VA, your VA funding fee will be waived. If you're active and you're in right now, you're going to have to pay that funding fee. So that last part is for people who are out, you're not in service and you're receiving some type of VA percentage. I can't remember if it's just anything higher than 0 or if it's 100. So I can't remember exactly which one it is, but look into that. The cost of the fee is determined by your type of service, the size of your down payment or amount of equity, whether it's the first time you're getting a VA loan or whether you're buying or refinancing the property. Surviving spouses, veterans who receive disability, and Purple Heart recipients serving in an active duty capacity are exempt from funding fee. Oh, there you go. I jumped ahead. All right. Don't worry though. In most cases, if you don't have the money up front, the VA funding fee can be rolled into your mortgage. Be careful with that. It's going to change some of your rates. It's going to change your payments and things like that. So if you do want to do that, talk with your loan officer and say, hey, if I were to roll this into my loan, what would that make my payments look like, and so forth. Reserve funds. So most loans require you to have additional money in the bank that you're not using for upfront costs. This ensures that you'll be able to make payments once your loan closes. The amount of leftover funds you'll need is determined by the cost of your mortgage payment, including principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Although it's not always required, it's a good idea to show reserves equal to 2 months worth of mortgage payments. I would say it's good to probably have about 5 to 8 months of reserves, just to be safe, and in case life happens, things happen. So it's always better to be safe than sorry. So VA loan benefits. VA loans have many benefits over conventional mortgages. Among them are potential lower interest rates, often having no down payment requirement, no mortgage insurance, easier credit requirements, and additional pluses for disabled veterans. So if you guys notice, I've already repeated the lower interest rates, the no down payment, the no mortgage insurance, and the easier credit requirements. I probably repeated those about 5 times. So those are very important. If any of you guys have ever, bought a house or know anything about real estate, those 4 things, your interest rate, the down payment, the PMI, and less credit requirement, those are those 4 right there are very important when it comes to the home buying process. If you're getting a loan, if you're paying for cash, then none of that really even matters to you. But if you're getting a loan, those are very important. That's a lot of money, a lot of stress relieved, but at the same time, make sure you're not getting yourself into something you can't afford, right? You always want to get what something a little less than what you can afford. Like, go to what you can afford and go a little bit lower than that. So if you can afford a $350,000 house, I personally would probably look in the 250, 275 range just to give myself a little wiggle room. That's what I usually do. VA loan rates are typically lower because they're backed by the government and carry lower risk for lenders and investors. VA loans typically have lower interest rates than conventional loans, particularly for borrowers with credit issues. You can learn more about mortgage rates here. I forgot to have the link. It was a link. I'll try to find it and send it to you guys in the chat. VA loans usually don't require a down payment. VA loans are one of two major mortgage options. The other is the USDA loan, which we talked about, that typically don't require a down payment. This means you'll need less money up front, being able to save the extra or spend it on home furnishings or projects or whatever it is you want to do. Go to Vegas and have a good old time, whatever the case may be. 100% loan to equity value. So you don't need any equity to refinance your VA loan into a lower rate or take cash out in most cases. So in fact, with the VA Streamline loan, you can refinance up to 120% of your home's value for changing your term or lowering your rate. This means you can refinance even if you owe more in your home than it's worth. No PMI, no private mortgage insurance. So VA loans don't require PMI. PMI is mortgage insurance on conventional loans that a lender may require you to pay if you don't put 20% down. Not having to pay PMI can save you between 0.1 to 2% of your loan amount per year until you reach 20% equity, which will add up. VA loans allow you to qualify with a higher debt to income ratio than any mortgage program from one of the major mortgage investors. If your credit score is 620 or better, DTI to qualify can vary based on factors like credit score and down payment amount. Let's see, how we doing? We're good. If your score is at least a 580 but less than 620, your mortgage payment can account for more than 38% of your gross monthly income. Additionally, your total DTI can be no higher than 45%. The VA loan is the only program that lets you access 100% of your equity in a cash out refinance, a key difference from standard refinancing requirements based off credit score and your lender. So how do you apply? Right. All right, we're finishing up here before I kind of tell my story on it. We'll get to that last part. So first, you need to get your certificate of eligibility. That's the first thing you'll need to do. Before you do anything, I would say start there. You'll need this to be eligible for your VA loan. You'll need to provide proof of your military service based on your status. VA approved lenders can help you get your VA certificate of eligibility quickly with proof of service. Tell your lender you need your certificate of eligibility early in the process so they can help you get it. But you guys can go get it easy. You can just go on to va.gov and you can get it through there. And you can reach out to the VA. There's a VA home loan hotline. There's a telephone number. I don't know it off the top of my head, but you guys can call that number and they can help you get it as well. Step 2 is apply for approval. So when buying a home, get pre-approved early on. The approval will give you a baseline for determining how much you can afford. In addition, when you make an offer on a house, you'll find sellers tend to take offers more seriously if a letter of pre-approval is attached. Most realtors that you're going to work with is going to ask you for a pre-approval letter anyways. So if you find a property that you like and you find a realtor, you say, hey, can you go put an offer on this property for me? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, are you pre-qualified? Are you pre-approved? Can you send me a copy of your pre-approval letter? So go ahead and get that pre-approval letter out the way so you already know how much house you can afford. That way you're not looking for an $800,000 house when you're in $300,000 price range, right? The house that you're looking for needs to match the type of income you have coming in and the type of debts that you already have. So don't cheat yourself, treat yourself, right? So stay in your, I don't like saying stay in your lane, but you know, in this case, you got to kind of stay in your lane. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew. Plus, lenders aren't going to, I don't want to say they're not going to allow you to do that, but stick to that game plan that I said. If they approve you for, you know, 350, look for, you know, 250, 275, maybe even 300,000 to give yourself that little bit of wiggle room. Shop for a house. So finding a house with the VA loan is like finding a house with any other loan option. Whatever property you buy must meet the VA's minimum property requirements or the NPRs. NPRs ensure the home is safe, structurally sound, and sanitary. These requirements vary according to known risk in an area. So this is what happens. So let's say you find a house and you have your COE, you have your pre-approval letter, you got pre-approved for $400,000. So you're looking for a $300,000 house. You tell your realtor, hey, I got my letter. Here you go. I want, you know, a duplex that's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths on each unit. I'm gonna live in one, rent out the other one. Boom, everything is good. You put in your offer, you do your walkthrough, everything looks good to you, but what's going to happen is the VA is going to send somebody out that's going to do, they're going to do this property inspection. This isn't the inspection that you pay for when you get in your home inspection. This is a whole different inspection that the VA is doing. They're sending someone out to make sure that the house is in living conditions. They want to make sure the property is structurally sound and sanitary. And the reason because of that is because you're supposed to be living in the property, right? And they want, if the VA is backing it, they want you to move into a home that's already good to go. They don't want you moving into a property that's going to need work. They don't want you moving into something that's going to be unsafe. So, they're looking at a lot of things when they go through these walkthroughs. I've actually been turned down for a property because the railings on the stairs outside the building, like going up to the second floor, was kind of unsafe. And then also there were stairs inside the units because it was like a double level apartment building on the inside, and the stairs, like a baby could fit through the railing, and it was something else that they denied it for. So it can get denied. Keep that in mind. If it does, you'll just have to see if those things can be fixed either before it's time to close, or just see what can be done. If not, then you'll just have to move on to the next property. Make a purchase offer. So once you find a home you like in your price range, put in an offer to buy the home. The seller may accept your offer, reject the offer, or counter offer. Once you and the seller agree on a price, a real estate agent or attorney can help you draw up a sales contract. It's easy stuff. Undergo a VA appraisal and underwriting. Underwriters from your lender assess your finances and make sure you qualify for the VA loan. The VA will also require an appraisal before they approve the loan. VA appraisals are stricter than conventional loans. During a VA appraisal, the appraiser will check that the home meets the VA NPRs like I was telling you about, and is sanitary. So it's kind of like an appraisal and an inspection all in one, and this is through the VA. Structurally sound and move-in ready with minimal repairs. Now, if it's a little thing like, like a light switch needs to be replaced, or I don't know, like the cabinets, the doors squeak when they open, or little things like that, or the garbage disposal needs to be fixed, like stuff like that is going to be okay. But now if like one of the windows doesn't lock properly, or the outlets are kind of hanging out from the walls, or there's wires, like things that are just kind of unsafe is what they're looking for. So kind of keep that stuff in mind. Number 6 is going to be close on your new home. So once the VA appraiser says your new home is safe and sound, it's time for you to sign on your new home, get your loan, and receive the keys to your new property. Boom, that was a lot. That was quick. Do you guys have any questions on any of that stuff that I just covered? Get up out of here. I know I kind of ran through it. So if you guys got any questions, you guys can type them in the chat, or you guys can just say it, whatever you got. Did all that make sense to you guys? We're good? Great presentation. Thank you. Yep, made sense. All right, cool. All right, so this is kind of my story on how the VA loan worked for me and kind of where I went with it. So my very first property, just to kind of put it in perspective for you guys, was a fourplex, right? So I got a fourplex, used the VA home loan. At this time, when I got the VA home loan, there was limits. I think the limit was like 550,000. I don't even think it was at 600,000, right? It was like 500 and something thousand. So the first building that I got it for like half of that, like 280, 270, I can't really remember. It was like 270, 280,000 is what I got this fourplex for, right? And it's crazy because the person that was selling it, and I wish I can go back in time. Obviously, if we know what we know now, we go back in time. So there was a person that was selling 4 fourplexes, right? They were kind of in the same area. They were selling 4 fourplexes and they wanted like 1.3 million for them, 1.2 million, something like that. Or it was like 350 for each of them. It was something like that. And so obviously at that time I didn't have I didn't have the money, or I didn't even know how to even come up with the resources to even possibly even get all these units. So what I did was I reached out to the owner and I said, hey, kind of, did a little sob story. I'm in the military. I'm looking to get my first real estate property. I don't have the money to get all four, but I can definitely get one of these things off of you. I couldn't have got two because the price for both of them together would have exceeded whatever the max was at the time. And then also I wouldn't have been able to occupy both of them at the same time. So what I would have had to been able to do was get one, hope that no one bought those other three for a year. And then I could have turned around and maybe try to get that second unit and maxed out my VA home loan, right? So anyways, so I reached out to them like, hey, I'm in the military trying to get my first deal under my belt, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And they went for it, and they actually gave me a little discount. They gave it to me for like, I want to say 40 or 50,000 cheaper than what they wanted, right? They wanted like 350,000. They gave it to me for like 270,000, something like that. So they gave me a really good deal. And I kid you not, like a month after I closed, somebody bought up all three. And the person that bought the other three constantly hits me up all the time and tries to buy mine. But anyways, so boom, I get it, move in, nervous, my first deal, not sure, how everything is going to work out. And then that first month of me living there, I get all the rents coming in, right? So I get all the rents coming in, and then it covers everything. And I have to come out of pocket, like, I don't know, like $200. I have to come out of pocket. So mind you, before that, I was living in an apartment down the road, and I was paying like $650 for rent. So you have to live somewhere, right? I don't know if you guys are writing these numbers or kind of tracking where I'm going with this. So I was paying $650 to somebody else, right? You got to live somewhere. I was paying somebody else $650 a month. I get this fourplex. I'm living in one unit. I'm collecting rent from 3 units. The rents that I'm collecting from these 3 units are covering my principal, my interest, my taxes, my insurance, utilities, all these other things, right? So it's covering everything except for about $200. So now I'm saving $400 a month because I was paying $600, and now I'm saving money, and I'm also getting my loan paid off. So fast forward time, rent keeps going up. I move out of that building, rent out that other unit. Now it's to a point to where I'm beyond cash flowing. I happen to get in this market before it started to skyrocket. My rents have doubled since then, and it was 2015, so 7 years. In 7 years, rents have doubled, and they constantly keep increasing. It was a blessing for me because, like I said, I don't come from no one around any of the circles that I was involved in, even as a kid. If they were in real estate, I never heard anybody talk about it. So this was completely foreign to me. Zero real estate knowledge. I was just a kid in the military, looking for something to do. I always heard, the wealthy always talk about own real estate, own businesses, invest in the stock market, all these different things. So, I was going in blind. But you have to take a leap at some point, right? I'm sure there's somebody else out there that probably has a horror story and things that went completely wrong for them. But for me, everything has gone right from day one. And it just came from, me buckling down, believing in myself, knowing that, hey, no matter what, it's all on me. I got to make this work. I got to figure it out. I can't, if you want to kind of get to that next level, you're going to have to rely on yourself. You can't rely on other people because they're not going to do nothing but disappoint you. People will back out. It's kind of like that, that thing when you're like, hey, let's go do a friends trip. Everybody's all in for it. But then when it's time to put the money up, everybody gets quiet. Everybody gets sick. Everybody has this come up, that come up, right? If you guys want to try to go get like a property with some friends, and, in essence, it sounds, in hindsight, it sounds great. It sounds good. And that would be dope if you guys have friends that, pull triggers, like we like to say. But, I talk to a lot of people, I got friends, I hear the same story all the time. Man, I want to do this. I want to get this, but everybody backed out when it came time to put the money up. You know what I mean? So But anyways, that was my first deal, you guys. You can get two properties under the same VA home loan as long as you don't go over that cap. Now there is no cap, like there was, back when I first got it. So, the game has kind of changed to more of people's favor. So if you guys aren't taking advantage of the VA home loan, you're tripping. I'm telling you straight up. I'll tell you to your face. I'll tell you on here, you guys are tripping. You guys are really leaving money on the table. You're telling me that you can get 4 units with no money down. That's crazy. That's just, especially in the right market, you guys. Come on now. Some of you guys are in bigger markets. Some of you guys are in, the LAs, the New Yorks, Houstons, the Atlantas, the Dallases, the Seattles, wherever you guys are at. You know what I'm saying? Take advantage of this stuff, you guys, especially if you guys qualify. You guys are, I'm telling you, it's gonna slingshot you guys into another financial category. And then it's also something that you guys will be able to pass down, onto your kids if you guys have any, or if you guys ever plan on having any. All right, let me see what you guys are talking about. Do you recommend getting an inspector aside from the one the VA? Yes, because the one that the VA sends, it's not going to be that's not going to be the inspection for you. That's the inspection for the VA. And that's them making sure that they're not giving you, let's say you go to buy a home that's $400,000 and you get your loan, you have your the price that you close on or agree on is $400,000. But when the VA goes and they have their appraisal go, this and that, the home is worth $300,000. The VA is not going to allow you to get a home worth more than what it appraises at. And then they're also not going to allow you to get a home that's not turnkey ready. So that inspection and that appraisal has nothing. It's more for the VA. It's for you, but it's for the VA. So you're going to have to actually get a different inspection and a different appraisal outside of that, right? So the inspection that I got, then when the inspector came, I always tell you guys, go to every inspection. If you guys can, it's worth it. It's worth getting the knowledge, ask questions. If your home inspector isn't passionate about what he does, I would recommend not even allowing him to do the inspection on your house. Every single home inspector that I've worked with, and I have properties in different states, they've all have been passionate about what they do. I asked them if I can attend the inspection, and they're like super hyped, super excited about it. I made great connections with a lot of home inspectors, and those guys can really, help you from getting a sour deal, especially if they're passionate about what they do. Yep, third party, what Randy was saying. Ace got on late, a bit unrelated. Did you talk about? All right, nope, I haven't talked about that yet. Thanks for reminding me. Before I hop into that, do you guys have any other questions about the VA home loan? What you can do, what you can't do. Someone told you you can't do this. Someone told you you can do this. Do you guys is there any confusion on any of this? Like, hopefully you guys gained at least some type of new knowledge. Do you guys have any questions on anything surviving around the VA home loan before I move on? All right. Let's see. Let me share my screen. Boom. All right. Hold on, I got 50 million things up here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So this actually isn't the only person that asked me about this travel deal. So we're gonna touch on it. Bro, were you still living in the barracks when you got your? Yep. So I wasn't living in the B's. I had an apartment. So I wasn't living in the barracks, but you can. If you're living in the barracks, you can. The only downside to that is that you're going to be paying more out of pocket because you're not going to be getting BAH yet, right? So when you guys are in the barracks, when you're in the dorms, you're not getting BAH until you meet whatever branch you're in. So like, for instance, for the Air Force, if the dorms are full and you're an E3, they'll allow you to move out. If you're in the Army, they typically won't allow you to move out unless you're an E5 or an E6, or if you're married, or if you have a dependent or if you come from a different duty station and you are already living off base, there are certain situations, you can talk to your first sergeant, let them know, hey, if you haven't gotten any trouble, let them know what you're trying to be on. Let them know, hey, I'm trying to, jumpstart my real estate career. I know I'm fresh in the military, but I haven't got any trouble. I'm trying to be focused. I'm trying to focus on this wealth, da, 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 da. Is there anything that we can put into where I can start getting BH so I can, start this real estate journey? So you'll be surprised. What I'm saying? They may turn you down, but you'll be surprised on, what can happen. So, all right, let me get up out of this. All right. So I don't know if you guys seen. All right. So if you guys have more real estate stuff, you guys can just tap it in the chat, but I'm going to talk about this travel deal real quick. Let me see, where is it at? Deals, the Go Wild Pass. All right, can you guys see my screen? Does this show the Frontier? I just want to make sure you guys can see before I start talking about it. All right. So this is the Go Wild Pass. This is something Frontier just came out with. Don't make me put my info in. So it's $5.99 for a year. And I guess it's going to be going on until tomorrow at midnight, I guess. And then it's going to go up to $2,000 a year. So here's kind of what the Go Wild Pass is. So some of the downsides to this. All right, so here you go. Unlimited number of flights. Flights are available 300 plus days a year. Access to Frontier's domestic and international destinations. Travel that will keep your miles from expiring. One low annual price. Get confirmed bookings the day before your flight departure for domestic travel and starting 10 days before flight departure for international travel. So here's some other stuff that you guys should know on this. You can't start using this until May 2nd of 2023. You can't use for domestic flights, you have to book them the day before. Let's see, and then these dates are the blackout dates, so you pretty much can't fly around the holidays. So it's looking like, Labor Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, kind of the, I guess, end of summer, and Christmas, New Year's, pretty much. So pretty much every other day. So you pretty much got 300 days that you can fly. It doesn't include bags or a seat. You still have to pay taxes and fees. The government's going to always get theirs. Flights and seats are subject to availability. Last seat availability is not guaranteed. You can't earn any miles or anything like that. You can't transfer it to anybody. The pass will automatically renew. So once you get it, make sure you cancel it so you don't get recharged unless you like it. And you got to be 18 or older to do this. So here's my thoughts on this. One, it's with Frontier, right? Frontier is trash. If any of you guys have taken my travel guide, you guys know I talk about Frontier. They're good for what they're good for, and they're good for taking cheap flights. If you guys are trying to travel on a budget and you guys are just trying to get somewhere, then, Frontier may be that route to go. And, flying Frontier comes with flying with Frontier type of issues: delayed flights, lost bags. I like to call it if any of you guys have ever rode public transportation before, I like to call it the public transportation of the sky, because if you guys have ever rode public transportation, you just never know what you're going to get when you get on a bus, right? You might have a crackhead on there. You might have some bums on there. You might have people with bad hygiene on there. You're going to see a little bit of everything. And that's kind of what you're going to see on Frontier. You're going to see a little bit of everything because they offer cheap flights, and with cheap flights comes certain things, right? When you fly Delta and you fly with these other known airlines, you have a certain level of expectation when you fly Delta versus when you fly Frontier, right? If you're flying Frontier, your expectations just kind of need to go out the window. It's really just I'm trying to save some money and trying to just spend my bread when I get to wherever I'm going and enjoy the destination when I get there. So it can come with a lot of headache flying Frontier. It will come with canceled flights. It will come with issues, but I will say this: if you guys are, real hardcore travelers where you travel 2-3 times a month, this wouldn't really be a bad thing, because you only need to take about 4 to 6 flights before you make your money back, and then you're pretty much flying free from there. I would check based on where your location is. Look and see where Frontier flies from where you're at, right? That would be the first step. See where they fly from where you're at. Also see where they fly round trip. If I were to buy this and I were to do this, I would never take this to where I have a layover anywhere. I need to get to where I'm going, because you might not even get to where you're going messing around with Frontier, right? They might have you stuck wherever you at. So you got to have a lot of leeway with this. The other thing that I don't like to this is that you have to book your flight the day before you leave. A lot of people won't have that flexibility to do that, and that can screw you over coming back. So what they don't specify on here is, does this have to be one-way tickets, or can you do this round trip? And how would that work if you're trying to do it round trip? Let's say you go on a week-long trip, you're technically not booking that trip coming back the day before. So I don't know if you have to book it as one ways. And now you can run into the issues. Let's say you get to where you're going and you're trying to go back, and there's no flights available for, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Now you're stuck, or you got to just go with a different airline. Another thing is, they're going to charge you for bags, seats. You can get seats for free. They'll pick them for you at random. But honestly, from my personal experience, I've been around the block with Frontier many times. I would recommend paying for those first class seats that they have. They're like $60. They're bigger seats. They're in the front. It's definitely worth it, because you don't have to deal with all the chaos. Once you get past those seats, those first like 6 that they have in the front, it's nothing but chaos after that. At least you have a little bit of peace and comfort in those seats. It's going to cost you a little extra, like $60, $75 at most. But you got a free flight. You paid, 600 or whatever it was. So you paid that already, but that would be my recommendation. Another thing that I would say, I have this personal thing to where if it's a 2-hour flight or more or longer, I have to have Wi-Fi. Frontier doesn't have Wi-Fi, and they don't look at bringing Wi-Fi anytime soon, because they are a budget airline. They know the type of clients that they're going to get. They know all the issues. They don't care about all the issues that they have. They don't care about none of that. They don't care about a lot, and it shows. They're just trying to get people to that destination. Sometimes they make it on time, sometimes they don't make it at all. So it's kind of like rolling the dice with this. Like I said, if you're an avid traveler, and be true to yourself. If you're traveling at least 3 times, if you're getting on that plane at least 3 times a month, I would say this wouldn't be a bad deal if you're from one of those airports that have Frontier and they go to a lot of destinations, and they go to a lot of those destinations without any layovers. Other than that, I probably wouldn't recommend it to people, just because it has all that stuff. It has, you're dealing with Frontier, and if you don't really travel that much, honestly, it's probably just not even worth the headache. Most people will probably just be throwing money away. Yeah, Soul Plane, for real. Nah, listen, you guys, I've flown Frontier a lot. I ain't got no shame in my game. You guys know I love to travel. I'll travel for cheap. But man, when you fly Frontier, it has to be if I do like Vegas to like Sacramento, or if I do like Vegas to Phoenix, if I go somewhere like 30 minutes to an hour, it's not that bad. It seems like those short flights are always the ones that go smooth. It's those ones that go like an hour and a half, 2 hours, you're going to run into something. You're going to have the air marshals waiting on somebody when you guys land. You're going to have the flight attendants. They ain't going to be paying you no mind. They ain't going to care about nothing. You're going to have a whole lot of, it's going to be a show. Just say that. It's going to be a show. So, though, if I had to recommend anything, take all those things into consideration. Oh yeah, they don't have outlets on their flights either. So they ain't got no outlets, no free snacks, no free water. The seats are tight. They don't lean back. No Wi-Fi. 0 out of 10 customer service, but they get you to where you're going. You know, they get you to. I've had more issues on Spirit and what's the other horrible, Allegiant. I've had more issues with. I've probably equally phoned Spirit, Frontier, and Allegiant. I'd say out of those three, Spirit is the worst. Spirit and Allegiant are tied for the worst, and then Frontier is not a far second behind those two. So take that with a salt and grain. But like I said, look at everything before you guys do dive into it. Know what you can do, know what you can't do. If it makes sense for you, then hey, you like it, I love it. All right. Yep, use that VA loan again. Don't just use it once. Get you 2 fourplexes under the same VA home loan. It's possible. You can do it. It's very simple. Get you one fourplex, live in it for like a year, live in it for like 2 years, build up some equity, get on the hunt for your next fourplex and turn around, literally just do the same process that you just did again. Live in that one for a couple years, and then hop into get you like a FHA loan for your next fourplex. You know, there's 12 units in 6 years. You know what I mean? It could be life-changing stuff, and then you just keep the ball rolling and just keep getting creative and keep the thing going. All right. Do you guys have any questions for me before we wrap this up? Any questions at all? Travel, real estate, whatever, doesn't matter. You guys got me for a couple more minutes. Did you guys learn anything new? No problem. That's my main goal, is just for you guys to get some type of new knowledge, some type of new information, anything new. Yeah, do whatever you can to get out the bees. Just don't get married. If you do, oh God, I don't even want to say this on, I'm not, just do whatever you guys can. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do, level up. Don't let the army hold you back from your shine. You know what I'm saying? Do what you need to do. Go in those rules, talk to whoever you need to talk to, you know, try to do whatever you can, because it's worth it. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it, because once you start getting that BAH coming in, get you a 3plex, a 4plex, get you something that your BAH is going to cover that. Let the military cover, you know, however much. If you plan on staying in the military for 20 years and you're at your 10-year mark, get you a house, get you a 4plex now, so you already lock in your rates right now, and then your BH ain't gonna do nothing but keep increasing, and you're gonna let the military pay down 10 years of that. You're gonna let your tenants pay down most of it until whatever they cover, whatever they cover will cover whatever it covers, and then let the military cover the remaining part. And if there is no remaining part because your tenants cover everything, then you pocket your BAH, right? Yeah, Nico, you know what's up. Yeah, be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you need to do to get business handled. You know, I've been there, done that. So, you know, when it's a chess, not checkers. You know, all they need to see is a marriage certificate. You know, they don't ask questions. All the military needs is a marriage certificate. That's it. You know, do what you need to do to get that marriage certificate, and then go ahead and start that journey. It's easier to enroll a parent or family member as a dependent. It's legal, and you get BAH that you can lock. It's actually not, Randy. It's not easier to for a parent, because in order to get your parent as your dependent, they have to pretty much be less than the poverty level. So if your parent doesn't have any type of income, so if your parent is on disability, that's income that they take, and even disability isn't considered way. I forget what the military wants you to be. I think it's like, I can't remember the exact number, but it's really hard to get a parent under. show 55. Yeah, and you also have to be paying you have to be like helping them financially. You have to show proof of you paying bills. So that means your name has to be on a lot of the bills. So not saying that it can't be done, but you know, to say if it's easier than to do what Nico is saying, I don't know. What Nico is saying is very easy, because that's a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, courthouse, get this paperwork signed. You don't even have to ever see that person again. You're not doing anything illegal. So there's a lot of ways. There's all type of routes that you can go, you know, to get that BAH. So just do what you guys need to do. I wouldn't call anything a contract, but like I said, just do what you need to do, stay within the lines, and then use the, you know, the military is using us, right? Obviously we all made a choice to go in, but at the end of the day, the military is using us. So we get these benefits for giving our time. So I hope you guys take advantage of all these benefits, right? Hold on. All right, you guys want some more game real quick before I go off? Let me turn this heater off in here. You guys, it's actually, they tell you guys it don't get cold in Vegas, they're lying. I got a heater on, I got a sweater on. All right, if you guys want some more game on something real quick, let me know. I'll be helping all my homeboys out. I'm trying to make all my military homeboys millionaires. Only a few of them ever listen to me. Chris is actually one of the, out of all my military friends, which there's a lot of them, he's one of the only ones who's ever really listened to me along this way. And he'll tell you guys that. All right, you guys want some more game? All right, this is for my military folks. All right. So I hope you guys can follow what I'm about to say. And if I lose any of you guys, just please let me know. And if one of you guys can look this up for me so I don't have to be looking at my phone, I would definitely much appreciate it. If not, I still kind of have the numbers in the top of my head anyways. All right, so going to school, right? Whether if you have a degree, whether if you don't have a degree, or whether if you don't care about a degree, any of that stuff, take advantage of the GI Bill. This is how you take advantage of the GI Bill. You go to school in San Francisco or you go to school in New York. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you got going on. This is a straight money play, right? The BAH for going to school in San Francisco is about $5,000. So if someone can just Google San Francisco State University, get their zip code, Google BAH calculator, put that in, you guys will see what I'm talking about. So when you go to school, right, you get BAH with dependent rate. So you get E5 with dependent rate based on your school's zip code. Now, this is what happens. People are from Mississippi, people are from Texas, even people are from Ohio, wherever, Chicago, I don't care, right? Everywhere, people are from everywhere but San Francisco, New York, right? So what they do is they go back home, they go to school, and then they get BAH for that school. But you're leaving anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 on the table, because a lot of schools, BAH is not that much because it's based on the area that it's in, right? The University of Texas is probably only getting, and I don't even know, I'm just making numbers up, but the university, and you guys can go fact check this, if I were to guess, anyone going to the University of Texas is probably going to get 2,000 to maybe 3,000 in BH. And I honestly don't even think that much, but let's just say that, right? And then those smaller states like the Iowas, the Idahos, like for instance, someone in Idaho going to Boise State is only going to get like 1,700, maybe 2,000 a month in BH, versus someone that's over in San Francisco, they're getting 5,000. There we go. The rate is, no, it's not, it's a E5 with dependent, not E3. Everyone gets the E5 rate. So someone that's living in Idaho, because they're from Idaho, they want to go, yeah, 47.97. So pretty much almost 5,000. So what happens is people are from, you know, they go back to where they're from. They want to go to a school where they're at, be closer to home, and they're going to get 1,500, 2,000. They're going to get a degree for free, right? Cool. Nothing wrong with that. You know, cool. Nothing wrong with that. But you can go this other route, which one of my friends is doing. Chris actually did this. Chris used to drive from Riverside up to San Francisco once a week. It was like a 6, 7, 8 hour drive. He had to attend class 1 day a week. And he was making, at that time, it was like $4,500 a month. And that's what he was using to fund his watch business and everything else that he had going on. So he was getting like $4,500 a month. It was costing him whatever it was costing him. Even if you had to fly, right? Even if you had to fly to San Francisco once a week, once a month, whatever it is you had to do, you're still going to come out on top. You're still going to make money. Even if you just go out there, find you a 1-bedroom, do whatever you need to do, you'll still make more versus if you go home where you're from, go to school, you're going to have to pay rent. You're still going to have to do all these things. So why not go somewhere where you can take advantage of this and get the most out of it? And you're only going to get the most out of it if you go to school in San Francisco or if you go to school in New York. You're still going to get a degree, still going to get all this good stuff, still get the experience. It's a short period of time. And it's just a way for you to kind of fund whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? You're taking advantage of what's available out there for you. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything illegal. You don't have to go to school where you're from. Everyone knows that San Francisco is the highest BH. Everyone knows New York, the BAH calculator is free. You can literally just search every single school and see what you'll get paid based on what school. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. I have a friend that's he's doing it right now. He's texting me right now. He's stressed about class, but I say, how are them checks looking? And he says they're looking really, really nice. So, he gets that $47.97 every month to go to school. He's a little bit older, so he'd be feeling weird when he'd be on campus. He only has to go to campus once a week, but he gets that check every single month. And he also applied for FAFSA, so he's getting that FAFSA money as well. If you guys don't know about that, if you guys are, I forget what the exact qualifications are for that FAFSA, but everybody I know that's been in the military, I don't know anyone that's been denied. If you're active or retired, I don't know anybody that's been denied for FAFSA. So smart, calculated move. Yep. It's all about taking smart moves. It's all about, knowing what's out there and then just working it to your advantage. So that's a little something I got for you guys. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully you guys take advantage, put that money to work. Like I said, they give us these benefits, so maximize it. Do whatever you can to stack up, get that money, get these properties, invest, double up, re-up, keep the thing rolling. All right. That's all I got for you guys. Bro, thank you for the Traveler's Guide course. I bought that while I was deployed in Germany back in 2020. When I found out about you, that's what's up. No problem. I love it. There's something called skip lag. I'm going to type it in the chat. Oh, hold on. Skip lag. All right, there's something, I don't know why I won't skip lag. It keeps auto-correcting. Whatever, it's called skip lag. You guys look that up. Skip lag tries to be what I put in my course. That's the only thing that kind of comes somewhat close, and it still can't do what I can do. If any of you guys have ever got Traveler's Guide, or if you guys ever thought about it, I still use Traveler's Guide to this day. I put Traveler's Guide out in 2019, I think. 2020. Yeah, I put it out in 2020. 2019 or 2020, I can't remember. It was during the it was during the pandemic, so 2020. So I put out Traveler's Guide in 2020, and everything, I don't even have to update it because there is no, I've looked at every type of system out there. I've looked at every type of nothing. I've traveled, I'll tell you guys, I've been to like I'm at 105 countries now that I've been to. So I've traveled a lot. I've traveled on every airline you guys can think of, first class, back of the class, under the class. I've traveled with all the airlines. I've tried every little trick in the book, and nothing still comes close to Traveler's Guide. It doesn't. I don't, if I ever, people ask me, is there a new version of Travel Guide? No, I don't have to put out a new version yet because no system has came out with the system that I have and that I implemented, that I showed you guys in Traveler's Guide. I even showed you guys real-time examples. So what I did with Traveler's Guide, I had to take one out of Chris's book and I recorded it live. So when I went on live, I was showing exactly step-by-step how I find my flights. And the very first deal that I found, it was like, I think it was saving like $600 or $800 or something like that on the example that I showed. So yeah, if you guys never got Traveler's Guide, check it out. Well Squad, you guys get discounts. I'm gonna have to make it free for you guys again. I made it free once for the Well Squad. I don't know what happened to all that. I need to repost it and make it free for you guys. So if any of you guys want Traveler's Guide, just send me a DM in the Well Squad, and I'll give you guys a pass for those of you guys that are attending the class right now. And if any of you guys bought it and you guys want a refund, then let me know and I'll send you your bread back. I don't even care. That way you guys can get it for free too if you really want it. I don't even know. So you guys just let me know. But man, travel, you guys. Traveling is it's beautiful. Traveling is a beautiful thing. Travel to different countries. Don't just travel within the States. Get uncomfortable a little bit. Go check out those different cultures. I always recommend, if you've never been anywhere, start with Canada. I know it's not necessarily overseas, but Canada is the closest thing to Europe with the vibes and the feel and how the people are and kind of how they operate out there. It kind of gives you Europe vibes a little bit, Western Europe. So if you're kind of nervous and you haven't been overseas yet, I recommend start with Canada. It's very safe. They speak English. Very easy to navigate. Your phone still works, all that good stuff. Once you guys are ready to start exploring different places, my next place is Europe, Western Europe, Spain, Portugal. If you want to take it to the next level, I'll tell people to start up north, start up in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland. It's one of the most advanced, some of the most advanced countries in the world. You'll go there. My very first time in Sweden, I was walking around with a map, kind of giving you guys my age a little bit. My very first time in Sweden, I had a map out. I'm standing outside of a store. This couple comes up to me and they're like, "Excuse me, are you lost?" And for a second, I'm talking with them and I'm like, wait, "Are you guys Swedish?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Why is you guys' English so good?" So in Sweden, all their TV shows and their television and their movie theaters, all the shows and everything is in English, and they have Swedish subtitles. They start out learning English at a very young age because Sweden and all those other countries up there are very business savvy, and English is the #1 business language in the world. So you don't even need to know those languages out there. Everyone speaks English perfectly, like better than a lot of Americans do. Like I felt more in America as far as hearing people, not everything else, just how people speak and talk. It's kind of, it blew my mind, it blew me away. This is random, but would you happen to know if a dependent has to be under an age requirement to go to school and receive Chapter 33, I believe? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the requirements are for the dependent. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, and I don't want to give you any wrong information. It's really easy to look up. Go on va.gov. They have a lot of information on there, or just reach out to someone. Reach out to like whatever schools in your area. Just call them. They have a veterans section, like a veterans phone number for you to call, and then they'll have all the information. You say, "Hey, I got a dependent, trying to figure out the age requirements," and they'll be able to hook you up with that. You want a guide? Yeah, just send me a DM in the Well Squad. Just send me your guys' email. It's NoTimeZone in the Discord. Just send me your guys' email, and then I'll send you guys the travel guide for free if you guys want it. Africa is really dope. Nothing like what they told us. Nothing like what we see on TV. Everybody got shoes. They living good out there. Australia is really dope. It's cool out there. Too many bugs. Asia is unreal. Asia is really dope. Singapore is a lot of fun. Tokyo is out of this world. You'll see some stuff out in Tokyo that you don't even see in movies. I don't even know what year they're living in out there. Thailand is out of this world. Where else? Europe is dope, you guys. I love Europe. That's probably one of my favorite places. I just like the way they operate out there. I like how close everything is. I just like the way they have everything set up out there. It makes sense with their whole their public transportation system is really good. The food is really good. When you're out in Asia, some of the food, you feel like you're kind of rolling the dice. They kind of definitely push the limits out in Asia and Africa. They push the limits on food and how they prepare food and what they what their cuisine is. But, you know, it's dope. You know, that's a part of, you know, the different cultures out there. And it leaves you with a story. I was in a country called Kazakhstan before. That's out kind of underneath. It's like right underneath Russia, a really big country under Russia. The whole time I was out there, I felt like I was on Fear Factor. Like I couldn't understand, you know, they kind of have like that Russian language out there. Couldn't understand any of the menus. Nobody really spoke English, and everything was just a roll of the dice. So every time I went to, you know, a restaurant, I was just pointing at something on the menu. Never found anything I liked, but it's part of the experience. You know, I've had multiple surgeries overseas in different countries, had to stay overnight in hospitals overseas. I've been detained overseas before. I've almost been kidnapped overseas before. I've had friends almost killed down in South America doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So that's another thing. If you guys do, and this whole Brittany Griner thing is kind of crazy. You know, it sucks. You know, people are ruthless. Everyone's like, she wouldn't care about us, man. It's not even about that. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It sucks that that's happening to anybody, regardless if you know her, regardless if, you know, she cares about us. It's not even really about that. It's just, it's a person that's, you know, an American citizen in a Russian prison. I don't know if you guys know anything about Russia, but they don't play around out there, you know? So, you know, that really sucks. But my point was, when you guys do go overseas and you guys do travel to these other countries, you guys please understand the laws out there. The legal systems are, you know, as fucked up, as messed up as the legal system here in the United States. It's a lot worse in a lot of other countries. A lot of corruption and a lot of police force, a lot of police, you know, in a lot of other countries, you know, the mob, the mafia, however you want to call them, still run a lot of countries. You know, a lot of things are still done shady. A lot of, you know, police are bought and stuff like that. So when you guys do go to these other countries, have some respect. Don't be out there acting crazy, because I tell you what, if you guys get detained in some of these countries, it might be the last time. You know what I'm saying? So just be careful, be safe. If you guys mind your business, you know, people will respect you if you're giving them respect. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been to some crazy countries. I've been, you know, all through the Middle East, some really dangerous countries, and I've never had issues. I've never had issues anywhere I've went. You know, it's more like all respect thing. So keep that stuff in mind when you guys are traveling to these other countries. Was that from being in the military? No, just traveling in general. I was just traveling all over. So I didn't actually really start traveling much until I got to Europe being in the military. But once I got out there, I literally every weekend, sometimes during the week, I was always going somewhere. I never stayed in my room. I traveled as much as I could. I went, you know, whether if it was out, you know, at first it was just like going to different clubs and partying out in Europe. And then it got to, man, some of these places are actually kind of nice and cool. Like, let me go see what they got to offer. From my experience using your method, do you fly small airports first to big airports or vice versa? Because I do notice the difference. Yeah, it just depends. So like I talk about in the travel guide, when you're flying from the smaller airports, you need to know what airports those smaller airports go to. Like for instance, people that live in Boise, right? If you're in Idaho, you guys live in Boise. Boise has a direct flight to LAX, Vegas, and Seattle, but it's only so often. So they only fly from Boise to LAX 2 times a week, and they only fly from Idaho or Boise to Vegas 2 times a week on different days. So you have to know nonstop and with the cheaper airline. So what you have to do is you have to figure out, if you're flying out of a smaller airport, every small airport goes to a big airport. Like for instance, if you're in Abilene, Texas, Abilene has a really small airport with one gate. And but Abilene flies direct to Dallas and they fly direct to Houston. So what you would have to do is see where is it cheaper to fly to. And if you're flying, let's say you're flying to Dallas and then you're flying from Dallas to Europe, is it going to be cheaper for you to fly to Dallas and then from Dallas to Europe, or is it going to be cheaper for you to fly to Houston and then from Houston to Europe? So you just have to see where it's going to make sense and where it's going to be cheaper at and which is going to be less of a headache. Do you have preferred days to fly? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are usually the cheapest days to fly. I hear buy the tickets towards Sunday, Monday for cheaper flights. Sundays are going to be kind of expensive. Mondays you might find deals. You have to think everybody's for the most part flying out on Sunday and even sometimes Monday. So it just depends on if the holiday falls on a Monday or not. Yeah, just look and keep an eye on it. And then there's different apps that you guys can use like Hopper and even Google Alerts will alert you if a flight, let's say you're looking for LAX to Dominican Republic. If you put that in, if you sign into your Google account, if you put that in Google Flights, you put alert me for price drops or increase, and it will let you know if the price is increasing or decreasing. And another good thing about Google Flights is it will let you know if that flight is kind of cheaper right now or if it's looking like it's going to go up. Sometimes it will say now is a good time to buy, but if you wait, sometimes it's not. So that's kind of a roll of the dice. I would typically say if you're flying domestically, look about, I would say about 35 to 50 days out. 60 days is kind of too much. 30 days is a little too little. You kind of want to look for that sweet spot in between. If you're looking for international flights, you typically want to look about 3.5 to about 5.5 months out. Anything further than that, you're going to get regular prices. Anything less than that, you're going to get more expensive prices because you're getting closer to that time of travel. So just kind of keep that in mind based on where you're going. Another tip, travel light. Try to travel with just a backpack, you guys. I know it's hard for a lot of people, but you got to look at it like this. You know, you're traveling for the experience, right? A lot of people want to bring all this stuff, and I had to learn, you know, not necessarily the hard way, but just over time, like, man, I'm not even, you know, now sometimes I don't even travel with a backpack. Like sometimes I'll just get on a plane and go and just kind of wing it. But like if you're traveling somewhere for a while, a backpack, if you're traveling for somewhere like a month or longer, then I'll do like a small carry-on, just one that you can put up on the top. Because for me, when I land, I'm ready to get off the plane and go. I'm not ready. I don't want to go to baggage claim. You know, I don't want to risk the chance of them losing my bag and all this stuff. And then I've also learned that you could buy whatever you need wherever you're going. Everywhere has soap. Everywhere has lotion. Everywhere has toothbrushes. Everywhere has toothpaste. Everywhere has deodorant. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere has everything that you're going to need. And for me, that just forces me even more to get out and explore. So when I get somewhere, if I just have my backpack, I get to my room, check in, throw my bag down, freshen up, and then I hit the streets. I go find a local market. I'm looking for fruit. I'm looking for water to put in my room. And then I'm looking to get whatever it is I need. I want to try whatever it is that they have because I'm not going to get this experience again. I know what's back home, right? I know we got Colgate. I know we got, you know what I'm saying, Degree. I know we got Dove. I know we got all this stuff, but I want to see what these other countries have. I want to see what they use. I want to really embrace in the culture and what they have, what they do, their traditions and things like it. Just makes the trip for me that much funner. And when I bring people along with me, they're like, man, I never really thought about that, or I never thought about trying this or doing this. And it just kind of makes the whole experience a little bit better. Yeah, there might be times where things don't work out great, or, you know, this might happen or that might happen, but who cares? So what? You know what I'm saying? Shit always happens. Something's always going to happen. Like, we're not going for that. We're going for the experience. We're going to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? See how other people live in different areas, because we already know what we know what back home is. You're going to go back home. So you know what you're going to get back to. So sometimes you got to just step out your comfort zone, get uncomfortable a little bit and see where it takes you. So. All right. You guys got anything for me? We've been going. I like the questions though. Nothing before we wrap this up? Cool. All right, you guys. First and foremost, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to spend it with me here. Hopefully I was able to give you guys a little bit of knowledge, you know, whether it be something new or, you know, whatever the case may be. It's Thursday, it's November. God, every time I get on here, I feel like just time is just moving. Yeah, you guys are welcome. Yep, you guys are definitely welcome. Top 5 countries so far. God, that's a really tough one. When you've been to so many countries, they all offer so much. They all have little, like, I feel like there's about 30 to 40 different countries that just have a piece of me that where I just always want to go back. So it's really hard to say top 5. One of my favorite countries though in the whole world is Sweden. Really blew me away out there. One of the cleanest countries. The air is very different out there. I've been to Sweden many times. A good friend of mine, we like to go together. Sweden probably blew my mind the most. It definitely wasn't what I expected. I've been in Sweden, and Sweden has winters also like you guys have never imagined before. They have some of the coldest. Like you're gonna have to buy clothes from Sweden if you guys go there in the wintertime. Like you can't just show up with what you got. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna cut it. It ain't gonna cut it. Trust me. If any of you guys ever been to Chicago for winter, that times 10. It's super cold out there. You're way up there. You're way up north. But I would say that country surprised me probably the most out of everywhere I've been to. Ghana really surprised me a lot. Man, the people out in Ghana really have a lot of love to give. A high energy place. Never been somewhere with so much energy. 24/7. People just dancing everywhere, music playing, people just smiling, having a good time. That really surprised me a lot. Latvia surprised me a lot. Me and Chris went there together. Yeah, Philippines is a dope. Yeah, Philippines is, you can't go wrong in the Philippines. One of my good friends is from the Philippines. We haven't made it out there together, but definitely enjoy the Philippines, and I enjoy Filipino food. Some amazing food, and the real traditional stuff is amazing. I'm trying to think if anywhere else kind of caught me off guard or surprised me a lot. Had a great time in Peru. Colombia is Colombia. Yeah, all the stories you've heard about Colombia are probably true. Let's see. Australia is cool. Kind of let me down a little bit. I only been to a few cities in Australia, so I didn't really get to explore too much like I would have liked. But a lot of great places out there, you guys. Just so many. Have you ever thought about providing a travel group? Thought about it. I even almost started a Twitter page once that was going to be just focused on, yeah, Bali is overrated. I can tell you like so many other better places to go besides Bali. I thought about doing a travel group, but I don't know. It would take a lot to have it ran the way I would want it to go. It would just take a lot from me, and I just don't have that type of time. I don't have the type of time, and I probably won't have that type of time. Maybe 10 years down the road, I might have that time to put that together. But I do it all the time for my really close friends. They love when I put stuff together. They know it's going to be a good time. And I'm the type of person, when I go on a trip, we're not having no itinerary. So for those of you guys that need a plan and need to know what are we doing at this time, if you ever take a trip with me, just know we just going with the flow with everything. Like from the moment we leave to the moment we touch down, wherever we go, we just going with the flow. There is no plan. You know, it's we ain't staying in the room. We're only in the room to sleep. You know what I'm saying? If you go on a trip with me, and if you want to stay in the room, you might as well not even come on the trip with me. Because most of the times I might not even end up in the room. You know what I mean? I might be having so much fun. There's been so many times where I went places and met locals and stayed at their houses, or been somewhere around water, people throwing bonfires, stay out all night, or staying out in the jungle. I can tell you guys stories for days about traveling and my experiences in different countries. One of the most welcoming countries, though, was Portugal, which was crazy because I've heard a lot of people say bad things about visiting Portugal. I've never been to so many strangers' houses in my life more than I've been in Portugal. I'm telling you guys, I've been to so many traditional home house dinner, like home cooked meals, stayed the night at people's homes. People have given me keys to their car. Like, I'm telling you guys, I can, one day I'm gonna sit down and write a book. One day I'm gonna sit down and write a book, you guys. I got some really amazing stories. I got a lot of great pictures from them. I just kind of wish my traveling, like a bulk of it was from 2007 to like 2014, I would say. And I didn't even have an iPhone until 2016 or 17, you guys. I used to have a Walmart phone for the longest. That's just how cheap I used to be. But I actually have a new iPhone now. I actually pay for it. But when I was overseas, I had just I don't even know what kind of phone it was. It wasn't a good one to take pictures. So I used to have I still have it. It's like a digital, like an old school digital camera. And so I had that with me. And so I wish technology was what it is now, so I can have much clearer and better pictures, because I have a lot of great pictures, but they're super old school. They're on like one of them old Sony cameras, like one of them, one of them cameras back in 07 that was like, 70, 80 bucks. Those were kind of expensive at the time, but majority of my pictures, my good pictures, are on those cameras. So the quality isn't that great, but there's still a lot of story behind a lot of those pictures. But I'm that person, when I travel, I don't really care about taking pictures. It's like, now that I've traveled so much and there's so many places I didn't take pictures, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have at least taken a few pictures, because I like to just enjoy the moment. Even now, I've been trying to start this travel blog for the longest, but it's so hard for me because I like to just enjoy the moment. I don't like to just, I'm always on my phone all day, you know what I'm saying, making money, doing this and that. So when I'm out traveling, that's kind of my time to disconnect. So I try to be on my phone as less as possible. And that's kind of hard if you're trying to make a travel blog. So that's exactly what I was going to get at. I need an assistant. I need someone that can roll with me, but I'm NoTimeZone. I'm always on the go. A lot of people don't have that luxury to just be able to, I might go lay down, take a nap, and wake up and be like, you know what, let me go hop on a flight, or let me go hit the road and drive somewhere. That's the type of person I am. That's how I've always been. So I like to just enjoy the moment, but maybe one day I'll get there. But a lot of fun times, you guys, travel as much as you can. Because like I said, man, we don't know when it's the end, when you're on that bed. I've seen too many people laying on that bed saying they wish they would have did this and they wish they would have did that. When it's my time to lay on that bed, I ain't gonna have, I did it. You know what I'm saying? I did it. No regrets, did everything I wanted to do and some, and I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't do it no more, because you know what I'm saying, time is too short. Time is limited, you guys. So take advantage. Don't wait on nobody. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just go. That's it. So, all right, you guys. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I appreciate you guys taking your time, staying on here, asking questions. If you guys ever have any questions on anything, you guys are free to hit me up in the Discord. If you guys want the travel guide, just shoot me your email in the Discord, not on here. Send it to me in the Discord. Shoot me a DM. It's NoTimeZone. Let's finish this year off strong, you guys. We only have a couple more classes together before we start the new year. Don't wait just to implement those plans. Like, do them now. Like, if you don't have any goals written out after we get off this call, type some goals in your notepad. I got so many notepads. I got goals. I got 2 whiteboards down here, one that's kind of like the calendar, one that has some stock market stuff, one that has like some goals and stuff like that. Just keep getting after it. It might not be perfect, it might not look pretty, but at least, hey, I'm working towards it, one day at a time. That's all you can do, one day at a time. One last thing I got for you guys, for those of you that hung on this long, I want you guys to go get this book. Check this book out right here. It's called What Would the Rockefellers Do? Here's the author. Go get this book. Thank me later. If you really want to change your family's history, don't be like the Vanderbilts, be like the Rockefellers. All right. So for those of you guys that stuck around, I just gave you guys, I'm telling you guys right now, go get this book. What Would the Rockefellers Do? If you care about anybody in your family, if you really love someone, recommend this book to them. Anybody you care about, recommend that book to them. Go read that book. And if you guys do get it and you guys read it, let me know. Let me know. Don't be like the Vanderbilts, be like the Rockefellers. All right. If you guys get this book and you read it, you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. Chapter 1. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys picked up some gems tonight. I hope everything is cool your guys' way. You know what I'm saying? Life is hard. It never gets easy. We just got to roll with the bad and the good, and we just got to keep this thing rolling. So I got you guys again on the 20, hold on, let me look. I think the 24th. No, that's Thanksgiving. The 28th. All right, got you guys again on the 28th. I got HiveMind coming back. So they have a system where they can generate clients based on if you're starting like a YouTube, a podcast, if you're in real estate. So they're going to dive more into their system that they have created to build some leads and things like that. So I'm going to bring them on for you guys. And then I got a couple other special guests that we're going to bring on to wrap up the year. And then we going to 2023 head first, you guys. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. That's all I got. I'm out.